another episode of the Squeeze podcast, and we are getting into an episode about the lovely Taraji P.Henson. And if you haven't been hearing all the controversy going on about with her, it is in reference to The Color Purple, and we're going to be taking a deep dive into that one because I'm not too much of a fan of The Color Purple, but how she is being underpaid for her role in The Color Purple. So if you're seeing this stuff and you're liking the content that we've been giving out, guys, because we've been talking about a lot of sweeps this week, and that's to the celebrities. If you've been liking it, hit that comment button to like and subscribe if you don't mind, because it just helps this channel to grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. I want to say thank you, and let's get into it. So Taraji has been making a lot of waves recently. You know, she's been doing a lot of movies, and right now her up and coming musical performance in The Color Purple, which released December 25th, and today is the 28th as of recording, co-starring alongside of Fantasia and Danielle Brooks. She plays the role of Avery Shuggs. Yeah, Shuggs. Shug Avery, excuse me. She plays the role of Shug Avery, but the whole thing went to stir when Taraji went on to a XM radio show with Gayle King, and revealed how she has been, going through her role on The Color Purple, and it has been a, hard struggle for her. Now, you guys can, go about how you feel about it down below and let me know, but we're going to get into it. I want to show you guys what she feels like she's been going through, so we're going to see it right here.
And I heard on the street, Taraji, you had the audacity to say you're thinking about stopping acting. We said, stop talking. Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up is a whole.
Yeah, and I want to put that in perspective because a lot of people don't really think about it. Once you go over a certain threshold, and let's just say $150,000, you start supporting other people. So that money doesn't spread the same. You are supporting other families. You are putting in healthcare. And a lot of people in higher places will explain it to you if you do not have any idea. Now, I know that any viewers that are in that level and are watching, they completely understand. So what she's saying will hold weight to you all. But to put it in a sense that we can all understand, it's just like her making a $20,000 salary, but still having 4 kids to feed or more. So I'm going to let her finish, and I understand that she's being very emotional. So let's just take our time with it.
Whole entire team behind us. Yes. They have to get paid. So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%.
That's right.
Okay? So do the math. Now we have $5 million. Your team is getting 30% or whatever your team is off of what you grossed. Sometimes not more. After what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math. So I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired.
But now, I'm not going to come at Taraji any type of wrong, but this also comes with negotiation, because as much as she's been doing in mainstream media, she should be able to work better deals. She's been doing Empire, you got What a Man Thinks, all this other kind of stuff that she's been doing. She's been doing a lot of stuff in media. So I would think that, she could renegotiate. But she also doesn't want to make herself unappealing because of, hiking up her price as well. So it is a catch-22. So I understand where, it might be shaky. Our negotiation is going to be key to this type of issue. Not to say that it's problem. Now, it really goes to show, we're not going to watch this whole interview, but I'm going to let her finish her point.
I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
It wears on you, you know? Because what does that mean? What is that telling me?
What is it telling me? Yeah. And what does it tell me? Yeah.
You know?
So,
And if I can't fight.
what she's saying is, what does it tell the fellow black actress? And you have to be able to stand up for what you believe in when you are in the right. Now, this one is a little difficult because, again, I don't stand for the color purple. And what's funny about this is, I'm going to show you right after this, I don't think she does it either.
For them coming up behind me, then what the fuck am I doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. I think it's an important message for people to hear because we see the lights, camera, action.
And then
And
they
it's so
tell me we
glamorous,
don't
yes.
translate overseas.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing that my entire career, 20 plus years in the game, and I hear the same thing, and I see what you do for another production, and when it's time for us to go to bed, you don't have any money. They play in your face. And I'm just supposed to smile and grin and bear it and just keep, like, enough is enough. That's why I have other things. I have my TPH brand. I have my...
Well, I mean, as a successful person, you should have other avenues of success. I'm just noting on success right here. What she is saying also, though, is prominent because the things that, you know, are apparent in the black communities don't translate well to other places in the world because they don't understand the black community. So you have to understand it from that point. And it's not to say that we are unrelatable. It's the fact that they don't have to see it so they can't relate. Just like how I feel similar to the Bollywood situation. I don't really understand any of the movies that come out of Bollywood, but they are honestly doing some great works, obviously, because they put out a plethora of movies all the time. Now, I don't know how much further into this we're going to get. Let's see.
mental wellness. I have other things because this industry, if you let it, it'll steal your...
It's definitely going to steal your soul. And like she said, you don't want to be too far into it. Yeah, no, we're gonna end it right here, this part. But yeah, no, I don't think that Taraji herself really believes in the message that she's coming with the color purple. Now, I know you're probably like, well, why don't I like color purple? Well, if you really know the facts about the color purple, you would really understand. But I might say it, but I'm gonna give you guys a more expanded upon opinionated version of it. But the color purple did a lot of bad things for the black community. The color purple just set the black community back so far as the hysteria that it helped to build within the minds of both men and women. And on top of that, there were so many things that we needed to do to devolve all of the stuff that came to light with that. But I'm going to go into the fact that, like I said, Taraji herself, I don't believes in the same stuff, because if she did, she would not have made this statement here.
Were you ever like that? I'm not her. I can't, that's not my, or did you jump in?
Well, first I questioned why were we remaking The Color Purple? And then
Nothing else needed to be said. And then what? There was no point. Why are we remaking The Color Purple? And if you don't take what I have to say, if you think I'm not explaining it enough to you, I got something for you. Now, I know you guys have been, have seen or heard about this brother, and God rest his soul, but Kevin Samuels is going to break it down to you the best way imaginable. Now, I could explain it to you, but I know this brother has said it, and I think that he said it the most smoothest and honestly the most concise way imaginable. So I'm gonna let this play for y'all.
Refuse to let us watch it. Like, they refuse to take us to the show. They refuse to support it, the whole 9 yards.
And just so you get some context, this brother is talking about, other gangster movies like Boys in the Hood and other movies of that nature that came out at that time that were typically bland in the black home. But today we just, allow ourselves to experience kind of anything because we want to see what's going to happen. So that's just to give you context on what this brother is talking about. And then we're going to get into it.
even today, there seems to be no level of responsibility or accountability when it comes to people not supporting or not continuing to go to the show, even when it comes to these slave movies or, a lot of these older films. I think one of the films that I still see celebrated today is The Color Purple, and people champion it as though it's something that we should watch, like it's a part of our history or something. What do you think about, like, generation after generation, people continuing to celebrate within the Black community and hold up these images?
And for anybody who's down and watching this and not understanding what he means by why are we celebrating the movie, what I'm saying is what that means is we should not be championing a movie that shows and highlights the most dirtiest parts of our history and or culture and or made up propaganda, which is most probably the truth from what it was. All I'm saying is we can't heal from just watching wounded people on television. And we as a culture been needed a lot of healing, and we're not going to gain it by continuously looking at traumatic situations. That's how you desensitize yourself. But I'm going to let this play.
In these movies and all of this type of stuff as something that we should champion or celebrate, or if you haven't watched it, then you're not Black or something like that. What do you think about that?
Personally, I can't stand The Color Purple. And if you're doing your research on The Color Purple, back in the 80s when it first came out, I was a teenager at the time. There was hot controversy in the Black community, Black men standing up around the country saying, this is going to have a deleterious, damaging effect on Black people for generations to come. But of course, it got downplayed by who? Alice Walker, Black feminist, and sadly, a lot of Black women, Oprah Winfrey, and these portrayals saying, no, it's not. It's the other way. And we can see what happens right now. Today, you see.
And now, again, I'm cutting it off because we need to talk about it, because it was a push to have people downplay it and then go out and see it. And now let's think about it right now. A lot of this stuff that's going on, you're seeing a lot of the red pill content. There's myself included, just trying to rebuild the home for the Black community. And if we're even talking about an even larger perspective, look at all the people in the news right now that are getting shut down. It's all of our people. And if you aren't noticing, all of our celebrities and all of that are being targeted at this very moment. I just did a video on Jonathan Majors, so I'm going to put that right up here, and then you go out there and watch that one, and you'll see what I mean. We are being targeted at an alarming rate. Now it's just going to be other types. They decriminalized the marijuana just recently. I actually got a brother who did a whole video on how they did this decriminalization, and we'll actually link his stuff right here too. All I'm saying is they're switching up the game, and you need to be aware, because it's going to be something that we all need to watch out for. Even Kevin Hart, just recently, I got the other video on Kevin Hart with the Tasha K situation. We need to watch how all of our prominent members are being targeted. Back into this Color Purple stuff, it just goes to show that we as a people haven't healed from this, because just like he's saying why he hates it, we're going to get into some more of it. I know you don't want to hear all the stuff I got to say because he's going to lay it down concise, but if you're really listening to me, you'll understand that this is not just a one-off thing.
So many people operating like the only kind of Black men that exist are Mr. and his daddy, the abusive, toxic, Black masculine image that is supposed to be the inside of every Black man. But then when you ask an individual woman, have you ever experienced a man like this in your personal life? No, I just hear about it. Black men have been dealing with the ramifications of that movie. And if you can pull it up right now, there were debates.
And I just want to shout out a lovely lady that was in the comments for one of my past videos, also talking about the Jonathan Majors, where she also, highlighted that, and I want to bring it back for context, because abuse is a very, very serious situation. I don't play with it. I don't think that anybody else should. You need to report it as soon as it happens. But there are people out here who are faking it, similar to the situation with Jonathan Majors. But there are a lot of people who will have situations turn in their favor and then try to play like somebody is doing something they are not. And this is what ties back into why he's saying he hates this, because there's a mass hysteria that, okay, I don't know, or I haven't had this happen to me, meaning I haven't had anybody put their hands on me. I haven't had anybody do anything that is of the abusive nature, but I know about it. I've heard of someone that it has happened to, and I know someone that it might have happened to. So then they live in this super hysteria state of thinking that it is going to happen to them. And guess what? Just like a lot of these manifesting type of people, if you put yourself in that frequency, guess what? That's what's going to happen to you, most probably. And I'm not trying to say look forward to that or anything like that. I actually hope that you move and change your life in a way that you do not have to ever experience that, or completely stop dealing with the person who might be doing that to you, because you know what is going on in your life. I think we all can be accountable enough to know what is going on in our own lives. We don't need to put the unnecessary thought of this could happen on people who aren't doing those things. Plain and simple. Okay? And I'm going to wind it back a little bit just so you can hear.
You ask an individual woman, have you ever experienced a man like this in your personal life? No, I just hear about it. Black men have been dealing with the ramifications of that movie. And if you can pull it up right now, there were debates all over the country. It's on microfiche. There are old articles in the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, talking about the.
And if you don't know what a microfiche is, it's that microfilm that they used to have to blow up for you to look up old news articles. And that's the type of research you're going to have to do to try to find all this information, because it'll show you the patterns, because the words were a lot less loose because they didn't think that many people would ever have to read it.
Damage that they feared it was going to cause, and they drastically underestimated. I don't think it should be watched. I think it should be banned like the book was. The problem is we as a culture, well, not even we as a culture, let's be honest, Black women is of art. They mythologize this stuff. I don't know many Black men.
Black ladies, please come down in the comments and tell me what you think about that particular part right there. Because me as a Black gentleman, I see where he comes from and I understand why he is saying it. And what I would love to hear is where you ladies come from on this standpoint. But just like any other type of media stream, let's talk about Handmaid's Tale, any other things like that, you get into a headspace where a lot of that stuff becomes something that you relate to in your real life. And that's where it becomes an issue. And that's what I believe. Now, I can't talk for the man because he's no longer with us. Again, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. That's where he comes from. And we need to address those kind of things. That's why this whole podcasting space even exists and is super helpful. Because now you can have these types of conversations, even the ones that might be something that just be in your head, and actually hash them out. Okay? Let's let the man finish, though.
Men who ran out to see The Color Purple, we were drugged to see this with our mothers and our aunts. Right along with the Women of Brewster Place and all these other things. Because unfortunately, we have a matriarchal culture to where Black men have been convinced if you don't support these things, you're not Black. Well, how about this? If you want to support something Black, support a lot of stuff that Spike Lee was doing. He couldn't even get Malcolm X funded. You know, we are responsible for the images we put out. And as Black men, I will say more than anything else, you cannot continue to get mad at the dominant society for.
And now what he said, I want to say something, because I know a lot of you probably will contradict and say, well, then why aren't we going out to support The Color Purple? You know, Oprah did it and all this other kind of stuff. But she's underpaying her top stars, which, I don't know how much Oprah has to offer, but she's obviously making enough money. And then on top of that, if the stars are out here, like, you have to treat your people right. And if you aren't treating your people right, you're not doing well as a leader. Just plain and simple. I'm not saying that I know Oprah's leadership style, tooth and nail, But I'm just telling you, the fact that this is all a conversation in general goes to show something. Kevin here probably hit the nail on the head as well. I think that the movie should have been banned just like the book, because why, again, do we in the Black community need another movie that is just going to damage us? It's just like putting back out Roots. We didn't need another slavery story. Why is it all of our stories have to root back to that? That's why certain things like Black Panther became such a cult hit, because it took us outside of the slavery mindset, even though it touched on it a bit. It took us out of that, and it let us see ourselves in a new creative life. And that you know what's funny? I'll even leave this down here. I would love to hear down in the comments, if you know any, I just want to hear 3 good qualities as a Black person that you just know offhand. There's 3. Please hit us down in that comment. I would love to hear what you say, because this is something that somebody ran up to me and asked while I was in college. And at first there was a lot of people stumped. And then at the end of it all, you know, some of us, you know, hit some things on the head, and some of us really lost out. So people were never able to even get 1. But they had to reveal the 3. And actually it was way more than 3, but it was hard because we are so pumped with negative energy through the media that we don't even know the good qualities in ourselves. And that's why I have stuff that talks about finding out your strengths and weaknesses and trying to figure out who you are and how to be the best version of yourself.